Hi, everyone. It's Alexis Hasselberger here, time management and productivity coach. And today I've been thinking about, of all things, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You may remember back in high school, we studied this and we saw that the base level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, before we can get to love and belonging or self actualization and all of that, is just our baseline physiological needs. So that's sleeping, eating, moving our bodies, all of these things. And so I want to talk about this because I actually think that it's a really important thing to be thinking about when we're in stressful environments like we are right now, where we're in the middle of a pandemic. So if we are feeling like we can't go on, if we are feeling super stressed and all of that is totally normal, something we can do is go back to these baseline physiological needs and see if they're being met. So, are we getting enough sleep? Most adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. I know that most adults get less than that. I also have kids, and I realize there are times in our lives where that's just not attainable, right? But as your kids grow up a little bit, it becomes a little bit more attainable and it becomes really important because I think a lot of times we feel like we're never going to be able to get that much sleep again. And we can. We can do a few things. We can do some things like a bedtime alarm for ourselves, right? Just work backwards from when you need to get up. We can just stop looking at our screens an hour before bedtime to help us out there. We can take some naps even. If you're tired in the middle of the day, you feel like you just can't go on. Well, we're in the middle of a quarantine. You might be able to take a 20-minute nap, even if you don't have, nap rooms at your office. We're not in our offices now. We're in our homes. So, set an alarm, of course, but take a little nap if you need to. Another thing to be thinking about right now is that, stress makes us really tired. And so we need to be getting more sleep. How can we do that? Well, we don't have commutes anymore, right? So can we turn our extra time that we have from our lack of a commute, could we turn that into extra sleep time? Then we want to be thinking about, do I just need to move? Is that what my body needs right now to get me back into a space where, I can be productive and talk to other people and be a nice person and all of that. So what can we do inside? It's hard. It's harder. We can't go to the gym. It's, going out and running in the street. It's harder because you got to stay away from people. You got to look a block ahead and see if you need to move over. But you can do small, short bursts of exercise throughout the day. So maybe you have stairs in your home. Could you run up and down the stairs for 5 minutes or so? Maybe you can do some crunches or push-ups. Maybe you can make rules for yourself. Just like, I always take the stairs, or every time I take the stairs, I go up 10 times and back down 10 times, or, things like that. Maybe you are going out sometimes to go grocery shopping or something. You can say, I always park, 3 blocks away, or I always park in the back of the lot. These are things that you can just employ as rules for yourself that will help you get more exercise in more regularly. And then also, we can't go to the gym, but there's so much free stuff out there. There are like a million YouTube channels, for dance exercise and yoga. And, there's the New York Times 7-minute workout app. There's all sorts of stuff that's free that we can use to do just kind of resistance-based exercise in our houses. And then finally, if we're still feeling low energy, if we're feeling stressed, we want to see, do we need to eat something, right? Nutrition is also one of our base level needs. And so what can we do there to make it a little bit easier for us to feed ourselves and to feed ourselves healthily? Well, one of the things that we can do is batch process. So we can batch process healthy snacks, cut up a whole bunch of carrots, spend 10 minutes doing it, put them in the fridge so they're always accessible. When you're cooking, double a batch of something and freeze half of it so that you're doing the same amount of work up front, but you actually are getting 2 meals out of it. You also want to make sure that you have just healthy things that are convenient, right? So instead of having, whatever is your Achilles heel, chips or chocolate or whatever, have an apple sitting on the counter instead. Put that on your desk in the beginning of the day. Make it a little bit harder to get to the things that are not so good for you. Or better yet, just don't buy them at all because it is way easier to resist. It's way easier to remove the temptation than it is to resist the temptation. So just make it a little easier for yourself. There's less willpower that you're going to have to use. And so thinking about these base level needs, especially during this quarantine time when it's still really stressful, even though some parts of the country are starting to open up, if you're feeling really low energy, if you're feeling really unproductive, if you're feeling like you can't go on, ask yourself these questions and see if it's one of these things that you could address first. So is it, am I tired? Do I need to get a little more sleep? Or does my body just need to move? I feel really restless and I got to do something. Or am I hungry? Do I need to eat something before I get hangry at everyone else? So I hope that going back to basics will be helpful to you. I know it's been something that's so simple and helpful to me when I'm thinking about, what's going on with me and what do I need to remain productive and to reduce stress.